Okay, let's see if this is gonna work. Oh, I think this will work. I think this is fine. Let's pull up my notes real quick. Let's actually do this. This is kind of appropriate. Put this on here. This is like a outdoor video anyway, right? So how are we gonna do this? Okay, I think this will probably work. Great. We're gonna try to do this in one take. I don't know how well it'll go. This is kind of the start of like an interesting, we'll call it like a series that I kind of want to develop. My name is Andrew. Currently, I'm a photo and video producer. That's something that I really enjoy doing. I love doing. Yeah, this channel is kind of about the outdoors and outdoor recreation. Unlike other channels, what I really want this to be is kind of like an encouragement to whoever's watching to just go and play outside. For me growing up, playing outside was really easy. My parents always encouraged it. In fact, that was like my punishment oftentimes as a kid, was just to go play outside. Can't play video games, go play outside. And I loved playing video games. One of the things that I found really interesting was that like playing outside for me took so many different forms. When my parents invested heavily into me just like going outside and doing different things, whether that was playing basketball or rollerblading, skateboarding, or biking. They always just wanted me to play outside. My mom would take me to parks often. She'd take me to pools often. Being a kid, playing like 500, and that was playing outside. Then as I kind of got older, playing outside took on a little different meaning. I got introduced to the Cub Scouts and then to the Boy Scouts, and so I had this huge opportunity to play outside that I never had before. It was more of doing like these recreational activities where I would go out and camp, and camping was completely different. Do things like at a lake, in the mountains, all of that. The Boy Scouts really offered me a way to play outside and to recreate outdoors in a way I'd never had previously. And you're constantly learning new skills through it. I never made it to Eagle, but I don't regret being a Boy Scout. I think I took a lot of things for granted growing up. My parents are both from relatively large cities. And then they came out to Colorado, and they kind of just jumped in to doing a lot of outdoor things that I never really took the time to think about how hard it actually was for two people in the city to actually do. My parents would take me to Rocky Mountain National Park as a kid. They'd take me to different state parks. They tried to get me involved as much as possible in anything that was happening outdoors. So I took a hiatus from that in high school, and I just didn't want to be outside. Just didn't like it. I liked video games. I got caught up playing Call of Duty. I do remember there being like a point where my perspective shifted, and that was in college. And I just fell in love with hiking. I fell in love with just going outside, playing outside, and I wanted to do different things. My outdoor recreation life kind of took a huge turn. I became more involved with the more extreme side of outdoor recreation. So like my favorite things to do today are like skiing and mountain biking and climbing. You can throw like hunting and fishing in there, though I don't actually fish as much as I like to say that I do. In all of that, I've become super invested into outdoor recreation. One of the biggest problems with that is that it costs like time and money to do these things. When I say I become invested into outdoor recreation, I don't mean that I go buy the nicest things, with the exception of ski boots, because I have egregiously large feet that are flat, and so I needed like a specialty ski boot, basically, and like custom work to be done on it. But otherwise, like I just have things that get me to do the things that I want to do. I don't have the best versions, and I usually buy everything used off of like Facebook Marketplace, but it's good enough for me. This weekend, I had the opportunity to go backcountry skiing, and that's one of my favorite activities in the winter now. chatter.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Oh. It was the first time I'd really done any outdoor activity in 2 months. And for me, that's different. I used to work at a ski area. I would get days in like all the time. Like I think 3 or 4 years ago, I had a couple passes and like I had at least probably like 50 or 60 days, out skiing. So this is like a huge shift for me. And one of the things that I have kind of come to the conclusion to is that it's okay. It's really hard, but it's okay. But basically one of the things that ended up happening is that, so for one, towards the end of last year, as I was mountain biking, I got into a pretty bad accident at a bike park where I was concussed and had a bruised lung, and it took time to heal. And that's been different as well, because I've usually been pretty conservative with my body, so I've been able to be more prepared to continue to do activities. One of my friends and I, we always say like we do things for longevity now. I think that's especially the case since I've gotten married and since I have a child on the way. But when I went backcountry skiing most recently, I was just taken aback to just this time where everything was simple and I don't know, it was just fun. Like it was a fun day. It was a short day relative to other days that I've had outside, but it was just really good to be out there. And I kind of was reminded why I really love outdoor recreation. So I think obviously to me, like it's easy to justify going outside because it's a social thing, right? Like playing outside is, I usually do it with like other people and it's really fun and we get to experience these good times together. I'm not really a person that does things like because of social media, I guess, or whatever. So that's not the reason why I'm into the outdoors. I really like it just because there's an exhilarating feeling that I get from like moving my body outdoors. And I think there's evidence of this, like empirical evidence of this. Throughout the pandemic, we kind of saw a lot of people whose mental health was taking a toll, and it turns out green spaces are really good for people. It turns out exercise is really good for people. And so my idea is that if you take the two and you have like outdoor recreation, which is a combination of like being outside, being in nature, in a green space, combined with moving your body, I think that you have like a double like compounding effect. I don't have like that much evidence for this. I'll link some of the articles that I kind of read, and they're actually like science journals. So, but also I think that there's this idea of like you could do that hypothetically like outside in a city, right? But I think specifically going to a place with a lot of nature is important, and there is evidence to show that plants, even in a space, which is like why we have so many houseplants in this house. I could show you like a billion. That combined with doing things outside, I think is like really good, for you mentally. And I could feel that there was this, when I went backcountry skiing, I could feel that there was this like ethereal release that I was getting, is the best way I could get it, of just like my endorphins just going and just being like, you're moving your body, you're getting fresh air, you're going outside, like it's like not another weekend of like watching movies or playing video games, which are other ways of resting and they're other ways of relaxing. But for me, I really cherish that time outside. Now, what's the biggest challenge with this? I have come to the part of my adult life where responsibilities and a full-time job are significantly more important, and providing for my wife is really important, especially as she goes through school. So there is a financial and a time constraint. I am fortunate enough where a physical, like a body limitations kind of thing, is not as serious at this point as it used to be, because I just came off an injury. Those are like really the three factors that determine whether or not a person can go outside. And because of this, I've kind of had to rethink what being outside means. And although I love skiing and biking and climbing and all that, playing outside to me has taken on the role of like crafting a schedule that allows you to have quality time when you can fit it in. I think in the summers it's way easier, because you can just go outside and it's not freezing cold. Like where I live, it's cold like probably 7 months out of the year. There's snow on the ground at least 5 months out of the year. So outdoor recreation in the snow looks a little bit different. Even lately, it's something that I've kind of had to shift my mind towards, which is this idea of like playing outside or being outside or just like taking rest outside is more of like walking through a field or driving to a lake or walking at a park, with my wife, something that is a little bit more cost effective than, buying like a downhill pass or something like that is cross-country skiing. We are fortunate to be in a position where we have rental programs that are near us where we can just rent for pretty cheap, just some cross-country ski equipment, and then just go up like a 10-minute drive away from us to go cross-country skiing, which is something that I had never really wanted to do before because cross-country skiing seems like aerobics from hell, and that's just not what I like to do. But, speaking of that, like walking, jogging, or running is now like something that I view as, more outdoor recreation that I can begin to participate in. Kind of like what I said, I'm fortunate enough to live in a place where I can do these things with relative ease. Climbing is really accessible here. Biking, mountain biking, road biking, gravel biking, all kinds of biking are really accessible. We even have a skate park in town. We have like a interesting aquatics program. It's like not super existent most of the year, but it does exist. We do have some lakes near us. And I totally understand that it's super, like not everyone lives that way. But maybe if you live in like a suburb or a city, going outside might be like going to a climbing gym, getting a membership there. It might be taking the time to, plan a trip and having that quality of time over quantity of time, kind of like what I said. That's where I'm at now. It might be, going down to your local park, right? But, at the end of the day, it's something that's like really, I treasure and I value. I think that there are implications to not going outside, which are really detrimental to mental health, especially. Playing outside, it's like that, what was that one campaign? I think it was like Verb or whatever, or it's like the one on Nickelodeon that was like get out and play an hour a day, right? Like I'm a more of a firm believer in that now than I was when I was a kid. So that might be like, I don't know, going to play like disc golf, right? Or playing basketball or other things like that. Like there are low cost options to like playing outside. Obviously I do, enjoy those things more, like mountain biking and skiing, like backcountry skiing. And there's a steeper cost to doing those things. But I just want to encourage you, whoever you are watching this video, that I don't know what your financial situation might be or your time situation might be, or even like your physical, strengths and abilities, where those are at. But I just feel like I'm very compelled right now to tell you that you should probably get outside and you should go play. So with that, that's kind of like how I want to end this video.